Ready for a deep dive into the altcoin world. We're on the hunt for those hidden gems, the ones that could potentially explode in 2025,
Yeah.
assuming Bitcoin keeps chugging along.
And the analysis we're looking at, it's not just hype and speculation. We're talking deep dives into the nitty-gritty, on-chain metrics, the whole 9 yards.
Exactly. It's all about separating signal from the noise,
Hmm.
right? And one thing this analyst seems pretty sure about, 2025, it's looking like a potential boom year for Bitcoin, all thanks to the halving event.
Right. And this entire analysis hinges on that, this idea that Bitcoin follows this pattern, this cycle tied to these halving events. Basically, every 4 years, the amount of new Bitcoin entering the market, it gets cut in half.
Less Bitcoin, but the demand presumably stays strong or maybe even goes up.
Exactly. And when you have less of something that everyone wants, well, you can see where this is going. Classic supply and demand.
Prices go up.
Potentially, yes. But, and this is a big but, remember, we're talking about crypto here, past performance. It's not a guarantee of future returns. This stuff is volatile.
Couldn't agree more. Not financial advice, folks.
Mm.
Always do your own research. Okay, disclaimers out of the way. Let's talk altcoins.
Mm-hmm.
First up, Solana. SOL. It's not exactly an unknown player, but this analyst seems to think it's got a lot more room to run.
And what's interesting about Solana is that it's attracting attention from both sides of the crypto world. You've got your meme coins, sure, but then you've got major players like PayPal launching stable coins on their chain.
It's bridging the gap.
Exactly. And when you look at the data, Solana's on-chain metrics, active users, transaction volume, even the decentralized exchange activity, it's comparable to Ethereum.
Yeah, really. That's impressive.
Right. And they're doing it with a market cap that's significantly lower than Ethereum's.
So punching well above its weight class.
Yeah.
Okay, what's next on our altcoin adventure?
Let's talk about BitTensor, TAO. If Solana is the exciting up-and-comer BitTensor, this is potentially a blue chip in the making, especially in the AI crypto space.
AI crypto, that's a hot space right now. What makes BitTensor stand out?
Imagine a network, right? But in this network, it's not people connecting, it's AI. And they're learning from each other, sharing data, constantly getting better, more sophisticated. That's BitTensor, a decentralized marketplace for AI models.
So it's like an app store, but for AI.
Essentially, yes. Developers, they can share their AI creations, let other people use them, and they pay for the service using the BitTensor token, TAO.
Okay, I'm starting to get it. But you know what really caught my eye in the analyst's notes? Grayscale, the big investment firm, they launched a decentralized AI fund, and guess what?
BitTensor is a big part of it.
Their most heavily weighted holding. That says something, right?
It's a huge vote of confidence. When a major player like Grayscale puts their money where their mouth is, that gets attention.
For sure. Okay, let's shift gears a bit from the world of AI to, well, this is going to sound funny coming from me, but the world of traditional finance, or at least a crypto project that's trying to bridge the gap. Ando Finance.
Right, they're all about tokenized treasury bonds.
Tokenized treasury bonds, it almost sounds too normal for the crypto world.
Maybe, but don't let that fool you. They're onto something big. We're talking about bridging the gap between traditional finance and DeFi.
And they're doing it with some serious backing, right? I mean, Coinbase and Founders Fund.
Major players. And they've already got over $600 million in total value locked. That means people are putting their money in, they're trusting Ando Finance.
600 million, that's not insignificant, but tokenized treasury bonds. How does it even work? What's Ando's secret sauce?
It's actually pretty elegant. See, normally to buy a treasury bond, it's a big investment. You have to buy the whole thing.
Not exactly accessible.
Exactly. But with Ando, you can buy fractions of these bonds on the blockchain.
Fractional ownership, that's interesting.
Right. It lowers the barrier to entry, opens up these investments to a much wider audience.
Democratizing finance, I kind of like the sound of that.
That's a big part of the appeal. And they're doing it in a way that's secure, transparent, efficient. It's all happening on the blockchain. They're bridging the gap between the old world of finance and the new world, and they're doing it well.
Okay, so we've talked about a couple projects that are already making some serious noise, but what about those hidden gems, the ones with that like exponential growth potential?
Well, the analyst did highlight a few projects that fall into that high-risk, high-reward category. One that caught my eye was Aether. It's a relatively new player in the world of, get this, decentralized GPU cloud computing.
Decentralized GPU cloud computing, say that 3 times fast.
I know, right? But it's actually a really cool concept once you break it down.
Okay, so break it down for us. What is it?
So you know how AI and gaming, they need a ton of processing power.
Yeah, my gaming rig It's basically a space heater.
Exactly. And the thing that makes them so power hungry is the GPU, the graphics card. But it turns out that GPUs, they're not just good for graphics, they're also amazing at handling the complex calculations needed for AI, for machine learning.
Okay, so as AI gets bigger and more complex, the demand for GPUs, for that processing power, it just keeps going up.
Exactly. And that's where Aether comes in. They're essentially creating an Airbnb for computing power. Anyone can rent out their unused GPU power to researchers, to companies working on AI, anything that needs that kind of horsepower.
So it's like tapping into the idle processing power that's just sitting there not being used.
Precisely. And here's the kicker. They're already generating some serious revenue. We're talking $36 million annually.
$36 million for a young project.
Hmm.
That's impressive. Okay, so Aether, definitely a project to watch. Speaking of high potential, potentially risky plays, this next one really caught my attention. The analyst highlighted a project that's trying to revolutionize the real estate industry.
Propi, right. They're doing some really interesting things with tokenized real estate.
Tokenized real estate. It's like every time I think I'm starting to understand crypto, there's a whole new world to discover. But Propi, they're not just talking the talk, are they? I mean, Grant Cardone, the real estate mogul, he listed his $42 million property on Propi.
They've processed billions of dollars in transactions all on the blockchain.
Billions, wow. Okay, so how does this even work? How are they using blockchain to, like, streamline real estate?
So, you know how real estate transactions, they're notorious for being slow and paper heavy and just generally kind of a pain?
It's not exactly known for being efficient.
Exactly. Propi takes that whole process, including the escrow process, which is usually the worst part, and puts it all on the blockchain.
So it's faster, it's more efficient, it's probably more secure too.
Exactly. And because it's on the blockchain, it's also more transparent.
Okay, but what about the legal side of things? Real estate is notoriously complicated. There are regulations everywhere.
You're absolutely right, and that's one of the things that makes Propi stand out. They've been laser focused on regulatory compliance from day one. They've even secured licenses to handle escrow services in the US.
Wow, in the crypto world, that's a big deal. It's like they're showing the world that they're serious,
Hmm.
that they're playing by the rules.
Exactly. And that commitment to legitimacy, it's attracting some big name investors. Tim Draper, he's a big believer in Propi.
Okay, so we've got AI, we've got real estate. Can't forget about the meme coins though, right?
Yeah.
The analyst highlighted one that's kind of an interesting play, Foxy.
Foxy, yeah, they're riding the coattails of a couple of major players in the Ethereum scaling world, Base and Linea.
Okay, remind me, Base and Linea, what are they all about?
So Ethereum, it's the biggest, most established smart contract platform, but it has limitations. It can get congested, slow, expensive.
Like the whole gas fee thing.
Exactly. So Base and Linea, they're what are called layer 2 solutions. They're built on top of Ethereum, but they're designed to be faster, cheaper, more efficient.
So like building a high-speed rail line on top of a traffic-jammed highway.
Perfect analogy. And Foxy, they're positioning themselves as the meme coin of choice for both Base and Linea.
So if Base and Linea take off, Foxy could be along for the ride. High risk, high reward. Great.
Exactly. Okay, let's switch gears back to AI for a minute. The analyst also highlighted another project within the Bit Tensor ecosystem, AIT Protocol.
AIT protocol, right? This is the one they described as the supercomputer section of the BitTensor App Store.
Exactly. AIT Protocol, it's all about the heavy lifting within the Bit Tensor ecosystem. Complex mathematics, logical reasoning, the kind of stuff that requires serious computational power.
So it's like the VIP section of the AI App Store.
Think of it more like the supercomputer lab, where the really cutting-edge stuff is happening. They're even building something called the Einstein subnet, a dedicated network within BitTensor, specifically for these demanding AI applications.
Okay, that sounds intense. What else makes AIT protocol stand out?
Well, they recently partnered with Google for startups.
Google for startups, that's a big deal, right?
Huge. Google for Startups, they provide resources, mentorship, guidance to promising startups. When they get behind a project, it sends a strong signal to the market.
It's like getting the Google seal of approval. Okay, so AIT protocol, another one to watch. But we can't talk about the future of technology without talking about privacy. And that's where Cody comes in, Cody Y, a project focused on bringing privacy to the Ethereum blockchain.
Privacy is becoming increasingly important in the crypto world, and Cody is building a privacy-centric Layer 2 solution for Ethereum.
Wait, so it's like those express lanes we were talking about with Base and Linea, but with tinted windows.
Exactly. Cody allows for confidential transactions. It shields the details of your activity from prying eyes.
And with all the regulatory scrutiny around crypto these days, privacy is more important than ever.
Absolutely, and Cody is taking it seriously. They partnered with Hacken, one of the most respected auditing firms in the crypto space.
Hacking, they're like the gold standard for security audits.
Exactly. So with Cody, you've got privacy, you've got security, and you've got the backing of the Ethereum ecosystem.
Speaking of established ecosystems, let's talk gaming for a minute. The analyst highlighted a project that's already making waves on Twitch, Off the Grid.
Off the grid, yeah, it's a crypto game being built on the Avalanche blockchain.
Avalanche, they're known for speed and low transaction fees, right?
Exactly. But what's really interesting about Off the Grid is that most players, they don't even realize it's a crypto game yet.
Wait, what? How is that even possible?
It's all about the marketing. They're focusing on gameplay first, on building a fun, engaging experience. They've got big-time streamers on Twitch playing it, and they're attracting a huge following.
So they're building the community first, and then they'll introduce the crypto elements later.
Exactly. The idea is to eventually introduce a player-owned economy where players can earn and trade in-game items, all backed by blockchain technology.
So it's like the in-game economies that already exist in games like Fortnite or World of Warcraft,
Yeah.
but with real ownership.
Exactly. Players will be able to truly own their in-game assets and potentially even cash out. It's a huge trend in the gaming world right now.
It's amazing how crypto is popping up everywhere, gaming, real estate. It's like we travel the world in just one episode. But there's one last area I wanted to hit from the analyst's notes, something totally unexpected, AI and music.
Now, this is where things get really wild. What if AI could not just analyze music, but create it?
AI composing original music, really? Is that even possible?
Not only possible, it's already happening. The project highlighted by the analyst is all about a decentralized approach to AI-generated music.
Decentralized AI creating original music. Okay, now that's just blowing my mind. How does that even work?
So they're developing these sophisticated AI algorithms, right? And these algorithms, they analyze huge data sets of music, like massive amounts of data.
So they're learning by listening,
Exactly. They learn the patterns, the structures, even the emotional nuances of music.
and then they can use that knowledge to create something totally new. That's wild. Okay, so why decentralized? What's the advantage there?
Imagine a future where anyone can use these AI tools to create their own original music. You don't need a fancy studio. You don't need years of music theory.
It's like democratizing music creation. Anyone with an internet connection could potentially become the next Mozart.
Okay, I have to ask, what about the human musicians out there? Are they out of a job?
That's a question a lot of people have, but honestly, I see it more as a tool, not a replacement. Think about it this way. Photography didn't kill painting, right? If anything, it pushed artists in new directions.
So instead of replacing musicians, AI becomes a collaborator, a new kind of instrument.
Exactly. It's about pushing the boundaries of what's musically possible. Who knows what incredible new genres and sounds we'll discover with AI in the mix.
It's exciting and a little bit intimidating at the same time, right? I mean, AI is already creating art, writing code, even generating realistic videos. Music was only a matter of time.
And it's already happening. Some musicians are even integrating AI into their creative process. Wow. Okay, that feels like the perfect note to end on. We started this deep dive looking for altcoins with potential, but we ended up uncovering a whole lot more.
We've talked about the future of AI, the evolution of finance, the potential of blockchain to revolutionize everything from real estate to how we listen to music.
It's clear that crypto and all the innovation happening around it, it's about a lot more than just digital currency. It's about exploring new frontiers, challenging the status quo, and imagining a future that's full of possibilities.
Couldn't have said it better myself. The future is being built right now, and it's a really exciting time to be part of it.
Absolutely. And for everyone listening, keep learning, keep exploring, and never stop asking, what if? But remember, while the crypto world is brimming with potential, invest responsibly. Until next time, happy exploring.